The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters at Real Estate Marketing, Ardor SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate. I'm Tim Calloway. We have a very special guest for you today, Debbie Wong with the Corcoran Global Living Group in San Mateo, California. Debbie, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Tim, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Staying alive in stormy southern Florida. You're the one that has all the beautiful weather.
We do. So you should be jealous.
I
love the Bay Area.
And
actually,
the humidity.
Well, I'm very much biased. I'm actually was born and raised in San Francisco, so I'm a native of San Francisco. Very rare, actually, because most people who come to live here are actually from other places. So I was born and raised here.
Wow, fantastic. Well, yeah. I'm sure you have plenty of stories to tell about the market in San Francisco area. So
definitely.
So let's start there. Yeah, let's start there. I mean, have you always been in real estate, and how did you get started, and what got you to where you are now?
Well, that's a really good question. So actually, I wanted to be an attorney. I really wanted to go into law and study law. And at the time, I had two very young children. And, I looked into it and I thought, wow, this is a lot of money to spend. And I really didn't want to go into debt. I just didn't think it was the right thing to do. Yeah. So I thought, okay, well, what job could I do to earn money for law school tuition? And so I thought, well, I've got a lot of really good friends that are in the real estate business and they were doing very well. And I thought, well, maybe I could do that. That looks, like it'd be easy enough. And once I got started, I just got bitten by the bug and I decided to forego law school altogether and decided to go into real estate full time. So my children, very young children, remember me door knocking and doing open houses. And, sometimes I had to drag them with me, and I didn't have a fancy car. I think I started with a Ford Aerostar. I called it my mom-mobile.
There you go.
And so my goal was to help as many families as I could find experience, not only the joy, but, just the achievement of owning their own home. So that's what I was about. I helped a lot of first-time buyers get into home ownership.
Yeah, it's really a great feeling, right? I mean, if you want to be giving back to the community, a lot of people don't think about getting, going into real estate. Usually they're thinking they watch too much TV, and they're thinking about the dollar signs and the mansions. But the reality is you're really doing something for the community.
I believe that you are, and I think at the time, again, I've been doing this for 32 years. So we're talking, many decades ago when there wasn't really a lot of choices for women, to go into different types of businesses where they could actually support their own families and, make a pretty decent living, but also have the satisfaction of knowing that they've been helping people realize the dream of homeownership. So, that's what really got me into it, and continues to make me feel a lot of joy and happiness to this day, this much or time forward, where I'm actually now helping the children of my customers that I first helped, a couple decades ago. So it's pretty exciting. And now my daughter works with me too. So.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. Multi-generational. That's really building a legacy for sure. So, you had mentioned, when you were describing, how you got up and running and in the family Vanagon, and putting door hangers out, flyers or whatever at my. How is?
Oh,
go ahead.
Sorry.
I was going to say, how have things changed? Obviously, with social media, things have changed quite a bit. The digital landscape. When you market now, I mean, are you still boots on the ground? Is it more referral based, or maybe someone new coming into your market or on your team? How are you getting them up and running?
Wow, you asked me like 5 really good questions all in one breath. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm done.
That's awesome.
My job's over.
Okay,
Well, take
well,
one of them. Take
getting
one of them.
started.
Pick your favorite one.
Well, getting started, you have to understand that it was pre-internet. So we didn't have internet when I got started. So everything was absolutely boots on the ground. Farming at that time was considered a very expensive endeavor. I mean, you had to send out stuff every month, and you had to be thoughtful about what you were sending out. So it was like a lot of pressure. Well, what do I send out this month? And all that kind of stuff. And I remember marveling at in those days. When I was mentored by the great John Finnegan and his beautiful wife, Therese Finnegan, I remember looking at this giant map of the Bay Area, and they had all of these and territories that were sort of marked off with people's names on it. I'm like, what's that about? Well, that means those are people's farms. So you can't go in there and call them or mail to them. Those are like protected farms. And I'm like, oh, okay, so these other areas over here means that I can do whatever I want. They're like, yeah. So that's what I did is I door knocked 50 doors a day. Of course, I had to make sure I couldn't wear high heels, and
Yeah.
I built up really strong knuckles. And we also cold called because back in the day you could pretty much cold call, and that's what we did. And so we did nothing but prospecting for 2 to 4 hours every single day. So it was hard. It wasn't easy. I mean, you had to, grow your skin really thick and be okay with rejection and just, keep moving forward and keep the thought forward that you're going to be able to help a family that you're going to meet, right?
Right.
And so fast forward, we now have this amazing thing called the internet, and you have these
Crazy.
things called a phone. There's like a computer in your hand. And I keep telling all the agents that I mentor and coach today, gosh, you guys have it good. It's easy. I mean, there's so many beautiful things that you can do with the internet and find information and data and share it. And on social media, you can let everybody know what you're doing and how you're doing and ask them how are they doing and invite them to comment and all these wonderful things. So I think the business is, I don't think it's I think it's easier in terms of marketing and the things that are available to agents now. I think that they can experience success a lot quicker, faster, sooner
Right.
back then versus when I first started. But still, you have to put the work in and the time. And I think you also have to be really sincere about wanting to deliver excellent customer experiences because bottom line, I've always believed this to be a true thing, is that it's really about the customer experience and delivering five-star customer service.
Right. Right. And even, I talked to a lot of realtors saying you've got to give them that 5-star customer service, whether it's and you may not have these in your area, but a $250,000 house or a $25 million house, because you don't know who that person is tomorrow and you don't know who that person speaks with. And go
Mhm.
ahead.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I think you do have to come from having a servant type of heart, and because it all adds up in the end. Oftentimes, because there's a lot, I have a tremendous amount of experience, and sometimes people will refer me to other friends or family, or they'll refer me to friends that are maybe having a hard time. Maybe they're in the midst of getting a divorce, or maybe they're having some financial difficulties. And oftentimes people will just come to me and ask questions and see if I might be able to provide them with some resource of where to go next or what to do next. And I'm always grateful for those opportunities because if I can maybe provide someone with a resource that, well, maybe you could try this or maybe think about that and see if that would work for you in your situation. So having excellent communication skills or developing those over time, I think is critical for staying a long time in the business and also critical for success because how you communicate with everyone in the transaction, I think, is really important. And I think having respect um, and just being more collaborative is what is going to help everyone in the transaction, not just yourself. It's not really only about the commission.
For sure. It's definitely not only about the commission. If you think only about the commission, it might be your last one sometimes. You just you can't be that way. I love that philosophy. Now I heard through the grapevine, or a little birdie told me, or some such. You do some coaching?
I do coaching, yes, actually, and it's probably one of the funnest things that I do in my business. I ran a branch very successfully for about 10 years in a city of Burlingame, and I had a really great time. And I was a working manager, a selling manager at that time, and I used to do a weekly coaching session every Wednesday from 10 to 11, and essentially agents would come and we would work on some type of a strategy or communication technique, and then we would set small goals for the week. And it was sort of like coaching, training, mentoring all wrapped up into one, and it was really a lot of fun. And I coached for a couple of years just for fun, for about maybe, yeah, it's a couple of years for a pretty large real estate training organization, it's an international training organization, and I really enjoyed it. And now I simply just coach the agents in my office. And so it doesn't matter what level they're at or what branch they're from. We meet once a week for an hour and we talk about strategy. We talk about how they're doing. We do check-ins. But primarily, it's really about mindset. So I'm really coaching having a positive mindset no matter what's happening in the transaction and actually showing up in a positive way for the customer so that we can be of help. Because in the way that I like to work and what I always promote or foster is that the customer always comes first. So we're teaching agents how to be mindful of that and how to provide an experience where the customer feels absolutely served and really feels to the bone that, you know, this agent really cares for me and they're really making sure that I'm being protected and that I'm being represented in the way that I should be. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. Let me ask you about the transition or the potential transition for yourself or others maybe in your organization to ever go out of production and go into a full scale coaching mentality. I mean, is that in the cards for you in the future, or will you always
I think
stay?
so. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, I've been successfully been able to do coaching, which I get a lot of joy from for the last several years, actually. And maybe at some point in time, you know, when I'm too old to drive, I don't know, too old to drive to meet people or to show
You're
them
very far
homes.
away from that.
Maybe that might be, I don't know, maybe at 80s or something. But I really feel that coaching has a very special place in my heart, and that's where I feel like I'm really helping not only agents but customers or people that maybe want to learn some very specific communication skills, or maybe just need someone to help them, you know, discover what might be the best benefit for themselves, whatever it is that they're doing. So, and that's the thing about coaching. Coaching is not therapy, by the
Right?
way.
It's not the
Although some people
complaint
try to
box
make it
either.
into therapy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not therapy. Actually, what a coach does is just really helps the individual understand what it is that they can do to achieve the things that they want to achieve, and maybe perhaps, you know, either tweak a strategy that they're already doing or maybe introduce them or have them think about something that maybe they haven't tried yet that might work better. That's what coaching is. It's just really about guiding and helping people self-discover and self-actualize for themselves what's going to be best for themselves and for their future. That's what coaching is.
Well, yeah, that's fantastic. Good philosophy. So what kind
Thanks.
of are you currently growing the office right now? Are you bringing new agents in, or and when you look for an agent, are you looking for someone who's been in production or looking for someone that said, "Hey, I just passed my test yesterday and I want to be a multi-million-dollar producer"?
Well, when I led a branch, I loved new people only because new people bring an effervescence with them that is just new and exciting, and everything's great. And I love that. There's no, you know, they haven't developed any habits yet that
Right?
might hinder their success.
Bring their bad
Um,
habits with them, right?
well, I don't call them bad. I like to
Yeah,
always keep a positive mindset, just maybe habits that
sure.
might hinder their success, right? Or maybe, yeah, like you know, people have their own saboteurs, if you want to call them that.
Yeah.
But I love new people, like I said, because they have an effervescence. Everything is new, everything's exciting. They're willing to try things. And if we tell them, hey, this is the formula that I found that really works so that in 100 days you'll have your first transaction. And I love proving that formula over and over and over again. So that's why I love new people. I also like people that love the business and that are positive and future thinking or future pacing always. Those are the type of people that I like to spend my time with, only because life is short.
Right.
We want to enjoy every
Yeah.
moment, right?
Definitely get the most out of every minute.
Yes.
I want to ask you, so we talked about how you got started and we kind of talked about where you are now and what challenges you're facing, but tell me about the next 5 years. What do you see for your organization and your group over the next 5 years?
Well, I see tremendous growth, most definitely, because we're always thinking about growth and we're always thinking about inviting people to align with us. Like I said, I started with my mentor, Mr. Finnegan, Mr. and Mrs. Finnegan, and they were really all about having a family style experience. And I think that's very difficult to find these days. So we have a tendency to attract other agents that want that experience, especially if they're newer, that want to have someone mentor them, that want someone that cares about them and truly cares about their future. And then also for the experienced agents, we have people that have been with us for 25 years, 30 years, 20 years, 15 years, and that's really unheard of. And again, it goes back to creating relationships where I think that's really the building block of any successful business is building that. So
Right.
we don't see that very often. And I think it's very rare and I think it's very precious. So that's what we promote and that's how we continue our growth. So I see lots
Wow.
of growth in the future. I think my daughter will become a really fast producing agent on her own. She's fabulous on social media and
Right.
TikToks and Reels, and she's
Right.
amazing. We just finished up a series for the cable network show American Dream TV. So we did 6 segments there. That was a heck of a lot of fun. We
I
really
bet.
enjoyed that. And so we're growing our team as well. So I just hired a gentleman. He's pretty amazing, has about 6 years industry experience, and he's only been with us less than 6 months, and he's already had a multi-million-dollar sale. So
Nice.
we know how to grow. We know how to grow agents into
Right.
becoming champions. So,
That's
and we have
fantastic.
fun doing it.
I
Yeah.
I did want to touch on the dynamic of working with. I have 4 sons, one of which did used to work for me. Past tense. Tell me about just without getting too much detail, of course, but tell me about that dynamic with your daughter and working with your daughter on a day-to-day basis.
Well, she's very intelligent. She was a math and science scholar in high school, and she went to UC Santa Cruz. And right upon graduating, she actually got a job with the DOJ, the Department of Justice.
Oh
She
wow.
thought maybe she
Yeah.
would also go to law school. I don't know what it is with my family and the law, but and then she realized after a couple of years there, she realized, well, maybe that wasn't for her. And but she's had a lot of exposure to the real estate business. Ever since she was 16, she worked as a weekend receptionist for our San Mateo branch. So she's been exposed to the real estate business and she loves it. We really get along very well. We're best friends. And it's just every day is a joy. Um, we love the way that we interact with each other, and she's very customer service oriented as well. And I really believe that there's nothing but great things that's going to happen from this partnership. My daughter-in-law is also getting her license, so she's going to be
Oh,
coming on
wow.
board with us soon. And so it's just going to be Wong women. It's going to be
There you
awesome.
go. That's fantastic. I love hearing it. I love hearing it. Well, we're kind of winding down here a little bit. There's a couple of things I wanted to ask you before the end here. One, if anybody in your area or even across the United States just wants to contact you for any reason, maybe even just to get some of that good advice you have, how would they get in touch with you?
It's really easy. They can email me, Debbie@debbiewong.com. Um, if they just Google a Wong Real Estate Group or Debbie Wong, they will find me. I'm really easy to find via Google search. So, and I welcome all calls. I get people who call me from all over the country just to ask for advice about getting started. when I did coach a coaching gig for that international coaching firm, we would have people from all over the country call, and it's really kind of fun.
Yeah.
And so that's probably, something that we are going to develop further, I believe. But at the moment, right now, I'm just really loving coaching agents in my company and
Nice.
just having a blast.
That's great. So I always like to give our guests kind of the last word. If there's anything that we didn't discuss, or maybe a topic you wanted to bring up, or just some advice to the general audience, I'll hand it over to you. Then we'll sign off.
Well, the advice for the general audience is it's always a great day in real estate. It's always a good time to buy. And for agents, it's probably the best way to create financial security for yourself is to invest in real estate. And that's also good information just for general populace as well. But if you think about it, I don't think there's any other industry in this world where there's no boundaries, no boundaries with regards to color, sexual orientation, race, creed,
For
no matter
sure.
what. If you are interested in trying to build something, a business for yourself, something that you could grow with your family, the real estate is it. Real estate is it, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you 100. You left one of them out. You might have said it, but age as well. Whether
That's very true.
yeah,
Yes. And we
whether
have a lot of
you're
people that come into real estate
yeah,
for second careers.
right.
Yes.
I'm in Southeast Florida, so there are a lot of people going, "Hey, you know what? I want to retire, but I don't want to retire." And real estate's a really great way for them to get out and get to know people in the area. And most of them, take it as a leisurely pace. So, but yeah, 22 to well, any two, 72, 62. But yeah, it's for everybody. So I love hearing that. I love hearing Debbie Wong, thank you so much for being on the show. I've really enjoyed it. I think people got a lot out of it, and I look forward to talking to you again.
It would be my absolute pleasure.
You have a great day.
You do the same.
Bye-bye.